What's good, y'all? JD Boxing. I'm here to talk about Canelo versus Crawford. And I don't know if this will be my final prediction, but I kind of want to break some things down. I've been watching a lot of videos online. And there's a lot of narratives being spun around. And I disagree because they kind of sound biased a little bit, because more people are talking about Crawford's flaws, but they're not talking about Canelo's flaws. And I'm talking about the big channels. I'm not talking about like small channels, because I found some channels that, that point out both sides. Now, not sure where to start. Maybe I should start writing shit down. But one of the things that I want to talk about is they talk about who has Crawford fought, but they don't say who has Canelo fought. He's fought the high and mighty. He's fought the best of the best. Okay? He's fought some of the best guys, yeah, that were available. You know, like Mayweather, he lost that fight. He lost against Mayweather. And then the big fights, he arguably lost those fights too. But, you know, on the scorecard or on paper, he won. So we'll just stick with that. But we know the truth because it's on the film. You can always go back and watch it. Canelo doesn't always perform the best, but they don't talk about that. They don't talk about they don't talk about Crawford, or they don't talk about Canelo's performance versus Crawford's performance. All right? Now we're going to talk about performance and their skills, their skill set, talent, all that shit. I'm going to try to cover it. If I miss anything, then I'll make a second video trying to add on to it, but here we go. All right, so what I'm hearing a lot is Crawford ain't fight nobody. Now let's just go back the 5 fights, or maybe 4 or 5 fights, the last 5 fights, we'll say that. Now, Crawford's last 5 fights, I think the first, I'll say Kell Brook. Then after Kell Brook, he fought Kavaliauskas. Or I might be getting them twist around. But Kell Brook, Kavaliauskas, Avanesian, Errol Spence, but no, Porter, Avanesian, then Spence. Those are the last 5 fights. All right. Now we talk about Canelo's last 5 fights. All right. Now Canelo's last 5 fights were, I gotta go back, man, because he's got Skull, and before Skull was Berlanga, Munguia, John Ryder, and I think it was Caleb Plant. I don't remember. I'm just going off the top. I'm not like these other big channels where they keep their shit in order. Just bear with me. Anyway, we talk about the level of fighter now. When we compare skill-wise, who's better? Who's out of his 5 opponents versus Crawford's last 5 opponents, who's better? Now, what I'm hearing a lot is, oh, they were washed, they were this, they were that. Let's just say they were. In my opinion, those fighters are still a lot better than Canelo's last 5 opponents, which Canelo didn't even look spectacular. You know what I mean? Nobody's talking about that. All the flaws that he does with the level of fight, like the skill level of those fighters that he fought, he should be washing those guys, right? I think he should. Now, when you compare them guys and look at Crawford, what he did to those guys, right? He didn't knock out Madrimov, but to me, he convincingly beat Madrimov. You know what I mean? It doesn't show. Well, I mean, he did win unanimous. One scorecard was 112 Sorry, 116, 112, and the other two were 115, 113. That's unanimous decision. Either way, how you want to look at it, he won. It wasn't no majority decision. It wasn't a split decision or anything like that. But in my eyes, I think they tried their best to make it look more competitive. But to me, Crawford was clearly winning the rounds. I really thought he won all the rounds, but Madrimov had some good rounds. He had 5 and 8 were his best rounds, and then 9 and 10 were good. They were good, but to me, Bud won them convincingly. So I had it 118 to 110. But people on my comments say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're this. You're that." Man, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing with Virgil. They had Virgil 115, 113. I thought Virgil won 117, 111. I mean, that's just one round difference from what I had it with Crawford. But, bro, Virgil beat Madrimov that convincingly. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to compare the two, Virgil got hit a lot more than Crawford got hit by Madrimov. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm talking shit, before you fucking say anything, watch the fucking fight. Pay attention. All right? That's all I got to say about that. Now I'm going to try to get back on topic. Now, the guy with the least experience that I'm going to say is the least skilled was Madrimov, because he's only had 10 fights. But I can't say skilled because he is pretty skilled. But the thing is, Madrimov wasn't really engaging. He was more doing like jumping jacks, in and out, and then he'll throw a sneaky right hand. But you know what I'm saying? When that's why I say styles make fights. Canelo don't fight that way. All right? So I have to take that. That's going to erase all that bullshit that everybody's saying. Canelo is more planted. He's flat-footed. He's more methodical. You know what I'm saying? He goes in there, he goes in with some head movement, but he's always going forward. He don't move. He don't move in and out, in and out. So that's what y'all have to think logically. You guys are always talking about, oh, IQ this, or I say things unbiasedly and logically, but you're not really being logically because you're not mentioning those things. You know what I'm saying? And you guys got a big channel, and you got a big following, and you got a lot of people that agree with you. They're just agreeing. You got a bunch of monkeys following you. So they're just going to say whatever, you know? You can call them dogs, whatever. Dogs are always going to be on your side because you feed them. And you guys feed them content. And then they start liking you, you know, you're funny and shit. But let's keep it real, all right? I'm going to keep it real. To my boxing knowledge, because I'm a student of boxing, I'm going to tell you the way I see it, just like Roy Jones or anybody else, and you discredit them because you try to use that. They're just trying to make this a more, I guess, to the public, to make them see that it's a good fight. But in your opinion, it's not a good fight. It's a mismatch. Okay, you have the right to think that. It's a mismatch, and technically it should be a mismatch. Anybody else would be a mismatch. But you're talking about the level of fighter, which makes it a match. It's a good match. To me, it's a good match. Because you got... All right, this is where I'm going to talk about the skills now that I got that shit out of the way. Skill levels, the opponents. You got John Ryder is trash, all right? John Ryder and Madrimov is more skilled than John Ryder. I can say that. John Ryder ain't that good. He's not a good puncher. I like to talk about how good skills are, all right? Because being a good puncher is skills. It takes skills because you have to learn how to throw a proper punch. I cannot stress that enough. All right. The two main things that stand out in a boxer is footwork and being a good puncher. Those things work hand in hand. All right. They kind of correlate together. You can't be too good of. You can have very good footwork and be a poor puncher. I can think of a couple fighters, and I know somebody who has good footwork. I'll just say it, Haney has good footwork, but he's a poor puncher. You know what I mean? Yes, Haney. I'm not taking away. I'm not saying that he don't have power, because people confuse power with people putting a lot of force, a lot of energy in their punches. You know what I'm saying? They confuse that with being a good puncher. But being a good puncher is more than that. That's why there is a little bit of science. You can say science. I don't like to use the word science, but skill, learning how to throw a punch. When you learn how to throw a punch, I mean, if you don't want to know this, you can fast forward it and skip this part. But I have to let y'all know who's the better puncher, Canelo or Crawford. I see that Crawford is a better puncher because he more of the time he can throw, and he does, short snapping punches. He throws it from here, short snaps. You know what I mean? And how to snap is when you're turning that at your fist. When you turn it at the end of your punches, that's what creates the snap and put in the right leverage. You know what I mean? You follow through, but only for so much. That's the proper punch. And when you throw a jab, it's a snapping jab. When you throw it, you throw relaxed, and then at the end of your jab, you twist it, and that's how you create the snap. So, and I want to say this. Everybody is so stupid, bro. I would just say that, not stupid, ignorant. Because you can't fix stupid, but you can fix ignorance. Ignorance just means you don't know. All right? I just gotta say that. So people are like, I don't know what that was. When Crawford fought Kell Brook, I don't know what that was. That was some weird punch. I don't even know what that was. That was a fucking jab, bro. He threw a jab, and the reason why it hurt Kell Brook so much is because if you pay attention, he threw it nice and easy. He threw it nice and easy, and at the end of the punch, he snapped it. Bap! That's what creates true power in a punch. That's why you got to learn this shit, bro. I can't stress that enough. So these people that are fighting, and this is why I want to say this. So the people that are fighting Canelo are not good punchers. Berlanga being the best puncher he's fought out of the 5 people. Because Berlanga honestly is not a bad puncher, but in a situation when you can become a bad puncher in certain situations. Now, Berlanga's not experienced with the level of fighter of Canelo, because not to take anything from Canelo, Canelo's a good fighter, bro. He's a decent fighter. I've always said that. If you go back on my some of the other videos when I made predictions, I always said, you know, Canelo's good. He's a good fighter. He's a decent fighter. But the problem is, what people are not realizing, his opponents are not that good. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They're good, but they're like sea level. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to understand me when I say this, because it might sound contradicting. A good fighter is a sea level fighter. A sea level fighter is an average fighter. So the average boxer, to me, is a good fighter. So you got a very good fighter is going to be like a B-class level fighter, which is, to me, is a world-class fighter. That's when you start entering the world class. And then when you have the A-level fighters, which are going to be your future Hall of Famers like Mayweather, you know what I'm saying, Leonards, your all the big top guys that are going to be remembered for generations. Those are going to be considered your A-level fighters. Your world-class fighters are going to be your Canelos. Yeah, I said it. I fucking said it. To me, I mean, has this image, and everybody, you're gonna see on September 13th, everybody's gonna be so confused, and they're gonna blame it on the snack. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna blame it on the snack. They're gonna be like, oh, because what you have to realize, another thing, when you drop in weight, you're cutting weight. So people are like, oh, he's got to gain this, he's got to gain that. No, he don't. No. I was a fighter, so I know. You have to cut weight. Crawford's walk around weight is what he posted when he entered the gym when he was 186 pounds. I believe that that's his walk around weight, because me and Crawford are the same height. I'm 5'8", and he's 5'8". And my walk around weight, I mean, I'm not as heavy as him because he's more muscular than me. He's got a lot more muscle than me. You know, I'm old. I've been inactive for, I stopped boxing. The last time I really entered the gym to fight I was 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 39 now. So that's 12 years. You know what I mean? 12 years inactive. I just work, take care of my family and shit. So, you know, you lose. Anyway, so you're cutting weight. So realistically, I think Crawford's going to be more comfortable in a sense, like in training camp. And he's had a whole year to prepare for this fight, bro, because that's what he's been doing. He's been telling us. He's been showing video, throwing clips out there, him training. This has been going on for over a year. You know what I'm saying? Like right after the Madrimov fight, he's been training. That's all he's been doing is training, practicing his technique, which you guys don't realize that. But, you know, that's just talk. That's not really saying nothing to you guys because you guys are fucking hard-headed. But, you know, it is different when you're fighting under the lights. I'm not going to lie. You know, even fighting an amateur fight, you got people watching you, the judges. I remember when I first fought, I was nervous, bro. I was like, damn, look, you know, we're fighting in high schools and shit. And there was kids in the bleachers and shit watching. You get a little nervous. You get a little stage fright. You're like, all right, people are watching me. It's not the same like when you're in the gym. You know, you whoop ass in the gym. Boy, I used to fight a lot of pros in the gym. Sometimes I get the upper hand. But anyways, Crawford's been training for a year, bro. He's been preparing for Canelo for a year. A little over a year. You know what I'm saying? He's not really been inactive. So he's been training, getting used to, you know, putting on muscle so he's able to keep that muscle when he cuts weight. Again, when he cuts weight, he's still cutting weight. He just doesn't have to cut as much. So, you know what I'm saying? Canelo, yes, he's been used to that weight. He's been fighting more. He's more active, fighting under the stage, so he'll have a little bit more comfortability. But it'll only take a few rounds until Crawford gets comfortable, bro. It's just that's why they call it the feel-out rounds. When you're feeling out, you still got the little bit of jitteries. You're in there, you know, you're feeling out, boom, boom. But once you get comfortable, you take a couple hits, because it's always good. It's always a big important thing not to get caught cold. That's the thing. You get caught cold, it's hard to explain. When you take hits, you feel a couple of them first. You're moving around, you know what I'm saying? You're keeping your distance, you're throwing yours, you're getting hit. So you're like, all right. When you feel that for a couple rounds, it's almost like you become immune to it. Not immune to it, but you're all right, boom, I can take that, boom. So you're ready to get hit more. You know what I'm saying? So I have to explain that. That way you understand, like, what people are saying. That's why a lot of fighters are picking Crawford. And everybody's like, how? Why? These niggas are crazy and shit. But they're picking Crawford because they know. Crawford does so much things better. All right. Crawford's the better puncher, has the better footwork. He's the smarter fighter. You could argue that. But I think he's the smarter fighter. He's the more talented fighter. He's the better counterpuncher because he's fighting again. This goes into his competition. He still has fought. His last 5 fights are better than the people, the last 5 fighters that Canelo fought. All right, they're not as fast as his opponents. So Crawford still gets credit for his reflexes and stuff. He got caught. Yeah, he was getting caught by Madrimov, but Madrimov, like I said, he was in and out, and he was pretty clever. You know what I'm saying? He was creative. He's very creative. I'm not saying Canelo's not creative. This is not to say that Canelo's not creative. All right, but Madrimov is faster on his feet. Canelo's not slow. This is my disclaimer. Canelo's fast because this is another thing. Canelo has been faster than his opponents. All right? Since the Lara fight, I can't really think of too many people that had more speed, and please don't say Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs is not a faster fighter. He's not a good puncher, and that matters. So, see, I keep sidetracking, but so Canelo's facing fighters that he's flat-footed, but he has the better footwork. He's faster. You know what I mean? So he's able to look good defensively because he could kind of see the punches coming and he reacts, He's got, he does have skills. Like I said, he's got skills, but it's different in there because he is easy to hit. Canelo takes more punishment than Crawford does. That's a fact. Y'all can talk as much shit as you want to talk, but Canelo takes more punishment than Crawford does. And it's against people that are slower than Crawford and slower than his opponents. Okay? So that says a lot. When you want to sit there, who has Crawford fought? He's fought better fucking fighters than his last 5 fighters than Canelo has fought. Because Canelo has not fought the good fighters. I get there's not many people available, but dog, realistically, Canelo isn't really campaigning at 168. He's not. He's had some fights at 168, but he chose who he wanted to fight. He's not truly campaigning. Because the guy that fought William Skull before Skull taking on Canelo, that guy beat William Skull. That guy, where he fights, that Russian dude, in my opinion, would beat Canelo. I think Shiraz would beat Canelo. That's why Turkey wants this fight. That's another thing too. Turkey has plans for Canelo and not really so much for Crawford, right? So I remember I wanted to talk about that in a video I said, but I wanted to hold off on it. I've been commenting a lot. I made a lot of comments because I watch a lot of videos. I comment. So there's plans for Canelo, but not so much plans for Crawford. And that's not to say that Crawford's not going to win, but Turkey doesn't expect Crawford to put a hurting on Canelo, because let's say Canelo loses, but he didn't really get the fucking shit beat out of him. You know what I'm saying? So it's we can go ahead and make that fight. Make Shiraz versus Canelo. You know what I mean? There's still time for Canelo because he's 34. He's not really old. You know what I mean? Nigga ain't 37. Like Crawford. Crawford don't have time to sit there and take this fight and sit there and take that fight. He don't got time. That's why he went straight for Canelo. And he's there anyway. He's known. He deserves a big fight. Not to say he deserves a win. I'm just saying he deserves a big fight. Right? So they made that fight. It's happening. Ain't nothing you can do, so just shut the fuck up. All right? So let's say Crawford beats him convincingly. You know what I'm saying? And does something which I believe he's gonna do, because he has shown that he can do different things in every fight. Like, he's always his defense has been tightening up since he fought. See, it depends too, though, because he does better against certain fighters, because he's taking a fight seriously when he fight. Let's say when he fought Spence, he took that fight so serious. That man was on point with his defense. Versus when he fought like Kell Brook and the fights before he fought Spence, he took a little bit more risks. He didn't take too much risk. I mean, he got hit, but he didn't really get hit clean, like too cleanly with Spence. You can tell he was working on his defense, because he was there, he was catching and shooting, he was on point with his defense. So I know he can improve. You know what I'm saying? Because there was in-betweens where he didn't look as good, but with Spence, you could tell he was really cautious and using his eyes a lot, and keeping a good positioning. That's what I'm saying. That's another thing with footwork. It's about positioning. I can't stress that enough. Crawford has the better footwork than Canelo. Faster feet. So, and it's harder when you're flat-footed. It's harder to get yourself in position. But when you're fighting slower guys, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? You can get away with that. But people don't see that. They just talk about Crawford, and they show how vulnerable Crawford is. But we're talking about Crawford versus Canelo. So we got to do both. We got to match it up. Y'all not matching it up. You're not matching these things. So you're not considering that Crawford has the better positioning. All right, he's a better puncher. But that's not to say that he doesn't have to worry about Canelo, because you'd be stupid to say that. All right, and you'd be stupid to think that Canelo can't knock him out. I'm not here to say that Canelo can't beat Crawford, because you'd be an idiot to think that he can't beat Crawford. I'm here to state my piece, because I'm going for Crawford, because I think he can win. He has all the tools that it takes to win. He has more tools than Canelo, and that's logically. All right? And this is what I want to say. Better footwork, better puncher, better talent, better counterpuncher. What else am I missing? Talent, meaning speed, agility, reflex. You know what I'm saying? All the God-gifted things. So that matters. So when you put your talent, right? You got your talent. You're already a better skilled fighter, because you punch better. You're a better puncher. You know how to throw your punches better, and you do it. You display it. You have the better footwork. All right? You guys can argue defense, but I think their defense is on par. You can give the slight edge to Canelo, but it's still on par. You know what I'm saying? It's a match. Better counter puncher. I don't know if I said that already. And I think he's better conditioned. His condition, his preparation, in my eyes, shows that he's better. He never looks tired, even in the even if it goes 10 versus Canelo. Canelo shows signs of fatigue. It can be like this round 6, and he already shows signs of fatigue. You know what I'm saying? So Crawford is already going to come in the better conditioned fighter, and I know he's coming in a heavier weight. But like I said, he doesn't have to cut weight. All right? He's been preparing for Canelo for over a year. All right? How logically you got to, like, how much of an idiot do you have to be? And he showed proof that he's been in the training camp getting ready for Canelo. Training matters. You know what I'm saying? So you training for your conditioning, to be conditioned for that weight class, because you're conditioning yourself to endure the hits, to endure moving around with more weight, which they do that on fight night because they rehydrate. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be smart for Crawford to rehydrate what he normally rehydrates to. You know what I'm saying? 175 pounds. And 168, it ain't crazy to hydrate 10 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's not unheard of. It's just like the IBF rules. You hydrate to the 10 pounds, but most people don't even hydrate that much. Like, I guess the smaller guys, you would say. The big guys usually hydrate. They put on like 20 pounds and shit, 15, 20 pounds. But it is smart for Crawford not to hydrate that much. I think he should hydrate at the most like 12. Throw an odd number out there, like 13 pounds at the most. You don't need, when you're already not having to cut that much weight, you don't really need to hydrate. You want to feel your best. You're already used to fighting on fight night at 175 pounds or 170 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So be smart about that. You don't want to go in there hydrating more. You know what I mean? But like I said, he has been conditioning himself to fight at that weight for over a year. He's been doing it. So that's a big thing. That's why I'm saying that. So you can't take that to you got to consider that. You got to take that into consideration. All right? And Canelo's not that, he's good, but he's not what everybody makes him out to be. He ain't no Floyd Mayweather. He ain't no Roy Jones Jr. He ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard. He ain't that. He ain't those guys. All right? And there's an argument that Crawford is. All right? I think he is. The level of fighter he is, he's on par with those guys. I think he can compete with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's better, because I think Floyd Mayweather's better. He ain't better. But he does so many things better than Canelo. Canelo doesn't do a lot of things great. He does them good, but not great, is what I'm arguing. All right? And I apologize. I'm 32 minutes into this shit, and I probably haven't said what I wanted to say. So it's just because I have so much, man. I've been watching so many videos, and they just talk shit. They're not really saying nothing. They're not really putting those kind of things into consideration, bro. When you assess, you're supposed to be an analyst. You're supposed to analyze. You're supposed to match up the fights. All right, what does Canelo do? How does he do things? What does Crawford do, and how does he do things? All right? Crawford has been what's the word? Dominating his opponents. All right? He has been, because there's a problem with the scorecards, bro. Because if you go back and you watch these fights, when you watch Crawford, that man's chilling. He sits down, he's chilling. He ain't out of breath. Canelo, on the other hand, is usually, you know, he keeps his composure pretty good. But I think another thing too, Berlanga hurt him, but he's so well composed. I gotta give him that. Berlanga hurt him a couple times. Berlanga hit him with some good punches. And I think that's why he thought he heard the bell. And he walked away, because before that, he had punched him. He had hit him with I believe Berlanga hit him with a right hand. It was a quick straight. Bow! And then a few seconds after that, he turned around to go walk away. Nah, you ain't hear that was the punch. You ain't hear the bell. That wasn't the bell. That was your ears ringing. But anyways, nobody mentions that. They act like that shit didn't even happen. But anyway, that is one big ass horsefly. Anyway, They don't mention those things, man. The level of skill set. All right. And if you guys need me to break it down more, I will. Being the better puncher, being the better footwork. I already said that is about being in your position. Those are skills. Those are things you got to learn in the boxing ring. When you're a boxer, you got to learn those things. Skills are learned. Talent is something you have, right? Skills and talent. People get them things confused too. And I feel like I have to say that because, I mean, even the big channels, they're like, oh, well, what's the difference between skills and talent? Talent is God-gifted things you can't teach, right? Like what Roy Jones was doing. When that man was hitting you with punches that were like, and he keeps his hands down and he you know, he's got good reflexes. That's talent. That's something that you're born with. That's a gift. You know what I'm saying? You're an athlete. That's what makes an athlete an athlete. You know what I mean? The things you can do were just, you can't teach that. That's something you just got to do. You got to be born with that. And, you know, Crawford is the more talented guy, but he is also the more skilled guy. Because what people are not realizing, they get it confused. They don't realize what Crawford is actually doing that you got to be taught. You know what I'm saying? I was like, a lot of those things aren't really talent. You don't just know how to throw a proper punch, you know what I'm saying, or snap. You got to learn how to turn your fists right at the end of your punches. You create that snap. You have to learn that. You have to learn how to throw the punch from, you know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to pivot. You know what I mean? You got to learn all that. You got to learn how to properly like your stance and where to place your feet. You know what I'm saying? You do that repetitively in training camp. You're learning, you're bam, until it just becomes your instinct. But that's a skill. That's a learned skill, not talent. So we have to put that into consideration, that Crawford is the better skilled guy and he uses talent with it. So Canelo don't. People just see the skill because there's no real talent there. Not to say he has no talent, because Canelo, his 1-1-2, which is the sweeping right hand, that's one of my favorite punches because I do that myself. You know what I mean? Especially against southpaws. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Crawford, this is just a belief, because I know people talk about feelings and shit, but I think based on some of the footage that I've seen with Crawford, he's going to go in orthodox. He has to go in orthodox. In my opinion, he has to go in orthodox because he has to do something that Cotto couldn't do. Now, I don't know if you guys know, Cotto is a natural right hand, and he fought orthodox. No, he's a left-handed, sorry. And he fought orthodox, so his jabbing hand, his lead hand was his strong hand. That's why he wasn't so much of a knockout artist with his right hand. So the reason why they teach you to fight that way in boxing is because it's more effective when you're throwing across with your dominant hand. It's always going to be better than your left hand. So when you can train your lead hand to be really, really good. You know what I mean? Versus your right hand. Your right hand, all right, you can match your non-dominant hand to be a lead hand, because when you're using your lead hand, you can train it to be just as good as if you were to lead with your right hand. But your left hand is never gonna be as good as your dominant hand throwing across. You know what I'm saying? It's never really gonna be that. Versus your lead hand, you can give that up because, you know what I'm saying? But I guess training, people feel different. But I train both ways, and I just can't. When you gotta throw that power, it has to come from this side. You know what I mean? You gotta throw that cross. It has to come from this side. That's going to be your best bet. You can always throw a strong shotgun jab with your lead hand being the left, and it can always be respectable. But when you can't throw it, if you're in there, and he does switch a lot. A lot of people, even when Crawford comes out orthodox, you have to catch it. When he's in there fighting, throwing combinations, when he's throwing his cross and he wants to hurt him, he's momentarily orthodox. Same thing with Cotto. Cotto used to switch so he can get off his left hand, throwing that power, that's why I want to say that. You know what I'm saying? I think Crawford should go in orthodox and just fight orthodox. He does momentarily switch because he uses his dominant hand to paint you up. You know what I mean? To beat you with the lead hand. The lead hand battle. But I think he should fight majority of the fight as an orthodox fighter, so he can actually hurt Canelo and gain Canelo's respect. So Canelo just doesn't try to walk him down. If he can gain Canelo's respect early, which is the smart thing to do, then Crawford's gonna win. I think he's gonna win. And I think he can possibly... I've been talking a lot of shit. I've been trolling, telling people he was gonna stop him, right? I think he could stop him. He could stop Canelo because he is a good puncher, and I think he's gonna target the body. He has to target the body. Nobody has ever beat down Canelo to the body. You know what I mean? And I can't say that it's because they couldn't, because there were many, many, many opportunities for it to happen. The thing is that his opponents are just not that fucking good, bro. They're not on that level. Crawford is. That's why I think Crawford's gonna whoop his ass, bro. I won't be surprised if Crawford whooped his ass, bro. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that, damn, I'm 42 minutes into this shit. I could see Crawford whooping his ass. You know? If Crawford attacks that body, Crawford's gonna whoop his ass. I won't be surprised. But to try to be a little logically, Crawford is at a big disadvantage for the weight. I'm not gonna act like it's not a disadvantage, but the reason why I'm gonna say it's like a 50-50 fight, 45-55, 45-55 being more logically that I'm honestly favoring Crawford because of the skills, man. The skill set. Because that matters. That matters a lot. And people don't want to say that. Skills matter a lot, especially the two major keys to a boxing match is being a better puncher and having the better footwork. And then number 3 is defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the 3 biggest factors is what I want. Because everything is important. But I want to say the 2 major factors that stand out the most is the better puncher and the better footwork. And, you know, defense is important. But to me, Crawford easily outmatches Canelo. That's why I'm more focused on that, on the being a better puncher and being better footwork. I think everything else can kind of, and the talent, you know, he's just got a lot of tools, man. He does things. He adjusts better. He makes better adjustments. Like Canelo don't really adjust. He don't make any real adjustments, because he could have made so many adjustments against Bivol. Bivol was just up and down, bro. 1-2, 1-2. That's all he did. He didn't really, you know, he was in and out, and then he'll box around, keep Canelo at bay, just throwing straights. And Canelo didn't adjust because he can't use angles. He doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't have the footwork to do that, to set him up. Crawford does. You know what I'm saying? Canelo could only do so much with his footwork. That's why footwork is important. Footwork is very important because it allows you to be and able to do things. You know what I mean? It allows you to make adjustments because, all right, he's up and down. I gotta be able to step aside. You know what I mean? And then reposition and then fire off my shot, which comes on being a good puncher. Because when you put yourself in a different position, you got to be able to throw a shot. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot to explain. And I'm already 45 minutes into this video, man. I just hope you guys are patient and you can bear with me, watch the video. Fast forward it if you already know some of these things, but this is the reason why I have Crawford. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to compare. I mean, like I said, the opponents and stuff. When you compare the opponents, I feel like I shouldn't have to go in too much detail. Because John Ryder, Madrimov, right? Who's better, really? Look at their skill set. Watch their opponents. Look how they do things, how they're punching, who's faster. You know what I'm saying? You got to take all these things into account. All right. Who can I compare Caleb Plant to? Caleb Plant and Kell Brook. Who's better? Kell Brook. Kell Brook is better than Caleb Plant. Skills. He's faster. He's a better puncher than Caleb Plant. And then I'm trying to make the best comparisons because, all right, and then you got, all right, so Kell Brook, you can kind of compare him to Caleb Plant. All right. Triple G, you can kind of compare Triple G to Spence. I think Triple G is a little bit better than Spence, like skill-wise, because I don't know. I guess you can kind of compare them because they're kind of the same in a way. You know what I mean? Except now, I got to give the edge to Triple G because he's a better puncher. He throws a very good jab. He throws a good jab, a very good jab, and he has a nice 1-2. He throws that. He's a better puncher than. See, this is just me being honest. I'm thinking off the top. You know what I'm saying? Off the top. So I say Triple G is. But the thing is, Triple G won. Triple G beat Canelo. Not on paper, but if you watch the fight, the best rounds were the first 3-4 rounds. And then after that, Triple G just kind of took the fight over. You know what I mean? And it was the same thing in the second fight. Canelo did a little better, but the fights are scored round by round. Canelo did a little better, like the first 4 rounds were better than the first fight. You know what I mean? The first fight it was more competitive, but I gave Canelo, he won like the first half of the fight. But Triple G won two of those rounds, and then later on, Canelo just didn't win any rounds after that. So I couldn't really give Canelo the second half of the fight was all Triple G. You know what I mean? Even in the third fight, Triple G clearly lost the fight, but from rounds like 10, 11, 12, Triple G looked better than Canelo did. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows you that Canelo does not have the better conditioning than Crawford. All right. So I guess, but that's not the last 5 fights. See, I fucked up. That's not the last 5 fights. I'm trying to compare the last 5 fights, 5 opponents. See, I fucked up. But yeah, all right. John Ryder, William Skull. Okay, no brainer. We'll say Sean Porter's better, obviously, better than William Skull. Kell Brook to me is better than Caleb Plant. Like, Caleb Plant's good, but he's not on Kell Brook's level. You know what I'm saying? Skill wise, he's not on Kell Brook's level. David Avanesian. David Avanesian. Munguia. Because Munguia's not that good. Alright? Kavalauskas. You got Aegis Kavalauskas. You can compare him to Berlanga. Alright? Because he has an Olympic pedigree. Skill-wise, he's better. Defensively, he's better. Alright? The only thing that Berlanga had going for him is power. But he's a 168-pounder. And realistically, if you look at the competition that Aegis Kavalauskas fought, he's fought better guys. You know what I'm saying? Sean Alexander. That's a damn running back. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm talking about, what the hell's his name, man? Fucking Sean Porter fought him. The same guy. Aegis beat him. Gave Crawford a good fight, so that just proves that he's more proven. He's an Olympian. You know what I'm saying? He's got the amateur pedigree. You know what I'm saying? The fighters that Crawford fought at least had Olympic pedigree. A lot of them, except for the names. Sean Porter didn't really have an Olympic pedigree. Kell Brook, I'm pretty sure he had an Olympic pedigree. They call him Special K. Yeah, he did have an Olympic pedigree. You know what I mean? He beat Sean Porter. You know, he beat some guys that were good in the UK, like, because he is a UK fighter. So those guys, he fought some guys in the UK with some names. He fought Triple G, and honestly, he beat Triple G for the majority of the fight that it lasted. See, that's another thing. To me, Triple G did better than Canelo did. For as long as it lasted, Triple G outboxed. Kell Brook outboxed Triple G better than Canelo did. All right. For the 6th round, like, it was the last round. Really, is the last 2 rounds. I can't remember how many fucking rounds it went. I think it went like 6. It went like 6 or 7 rounds. I don't know if it went 8 rounds, but bro, Kell Brook won like 4 straight rounds easy. Like, made Triple G was making Triple G look bad, and he fought a year before Canelo fought, and Triple G beat Canelo. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what you got to look at, that kind of shit too. That does matter. But you know, Triple G did beat. You know, he did have to come up and fight a big puncher like. Kell Brook did fight a big puncher like Triple G, but he did fight a better version of Triple G because Triple G was a year fresher and was already getting old at the time. You know what I mean? He was already getting old. And Triple G had a year, you know, the more layoff you have without really being in shape. I don't want to get into that. I'm not going to get into that because truly I don't know. But I think I remember saying they were saying something about Triple G's layoff. The last fight he had was Kell Brook, and then he fought Canelo. You know what I mean? And he didn't. Triple G doesn't really look. He kind of looks fat a little bit until it's like fight night. I remember them people talking shit, making fun, like talking shit about his camp, that he wasn't taking it seriously and shit like that. But anyways, I don't want to get too much into that. Well, I'm just comparing the fighters. But like I said, Triple G wasn't his last 4 or 5 fights. But yeah, when you look at his last 5 fights versus Crawford's last 5 fights, Crawford has the better opponents. I'm sorry. Canelo, the way Canelo's performance compared to Crawford's performance versus the opponents, Crawford is better and displays a better performance. And they were all on a big stage, except for the Kell Brook, because the Kell Brook happened during the COVID shit. All right, but with that being said, Canelo lacks the skill department. The only thing he has going for him that has the big advantage is the weight and the power. All right. Now, if you want to argue, oh, there's no way Crawford's a better puncher. Now, after I was just saying, when you pay attention to how they throw their punches, and the reason why Canelo's not really knocking his opponents out, and the reason why his opponents are not good punchers, because they're not knocking him out either. You know what I mean? They're bigger guys. If those guys were skilled and didn't know how to throw a punch, maybe we wouldn't even be making this video, because Canelo wouldn't even be in the picture. All right? And anyway, one of his last 5 fights, wasn't it Bivol? And he lost. He lost one of his yeah. It was Bivol. It wasn't Caleb Plant. Cause he fought Bivol after. Yeah, he fought Caleb Plant before that. So Bivol, to me, Bivol's not more skilled than Kell Brook. But everybody's like, oh, he's this skilled guy. He's this. Bro, he's just a straight up 1-2. There's not really any skills. He's got good footwork. Yeah, he's a mover. But his footwork, like his footwork is not, it's not that educated, bro. It really isn't. He's just a mover. He's still got that amateur in him. The amateur move around, throws some flurries, just like Artur Beterbiev, however you say his name, Beterbiev or Beterbiev, beat him both times, but they robbed that motherfucker. That's another thing. I don't know what you guys are seeing in these fights. Beterbiev controlled the majority of the rounds, outlanded and threw more power punches than landed more punches, period, than Bivol. Bivol only worked them for 30 seconds. Bro, there's 3 minutes in a fight. What happened to the punches prior to that? Bivol was like running the whole time. Bivol was surviving. All right? Bivol was surviving against Beterbiev. And he won the fight? There's no fucking way. To me, I can't just say to me, because I'm trying to be as logical as possible. I don't care about either fighter. All right? But, bro, Bivol did not outland him. Bivol only worked so much. He was moving, cover up, and Beterbiev was hitting him, landing. He was getting in between the guard. He was landing to the body. He was throwing combinations, boom, 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 and hitting him. And I'm scratching my head because Bivol didn't really do anything. He'd throw like flashy combinations here and there, and then he'll get back on his bicycle. You know what I'm saying? That's not enough to win the rounds. And Bivol blocked a lot of them too. So it's like landed shots count. Because if you're not landing punches, you're not winning the rounds. So when Beterbiev is landing more punches, more jabs, more power punches, because that's what counts, and they're landing clean, you know what I mean? Versus Bivol not landing shots. You know, he's looking flashy, he's throwing a lot of flurries, looking good, and then the crowd jumps up and shit. Bro, he didn't win. He did not win. Beterbiev won both times, bro. Bivol did not win. But since people they think that because you're asking casuals the vote, oh, who do you think won that fight? Oh, who do you think, you know what I'm saying? Who do you think won that fight? And then people want to see it, so they make another fight. This is the thing about Turkey that I kind of don't like about him. I don't like it because it's good. It's like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? You're getting, as much as it is good, it's bad. Because he's making, he's trying to, I get what they're doing, but then you're fucking the fighters. You're fucking over the fighters. Yeah, you're creating more people into the sport of boxing, but you're also fucking the fighters. You're screwing them. You're screwing them in the wins, because that's why a lot of the big channels are like, oh well, it could have gone either way. No, fuck that. It is what it is. All right. Beterbiev won. Punches landed, power punches, clean punches. All right. If you're landing clean shots, those are landed punches. All right. If you're hitting the dude in the arms, if you're hitting him in the guard and he's he's slipping punches and you're hitting him in the elbows, those are not landed punches. That's why I say punches landed wins you the rounds. All right? Punches landed wins you the rounds. I'll say it again. Punches landed win you the rounds. So whoever lands more punches wins the round. And power punches play a deal when, let's say, when you land just about the same amount of punches as I do, right? But I landed more power punches than the guy, then usually the judges will give it to the guy that's doing more damage. You know what I mean? That's how that works. It's not clean, effective. Motherfucker, a clean punch is an effective punch. All right? So if you're punching me here and I'm blocking the punch, but in your opinion, it's effective. Oh, that's effective. Why? Because you say it is? The nigga's blocking the fucking punches. That's not a landed punch. I'm sorry. Because there's big channels that say that. Oh, he's more effective, so we're going to give it to him. He threw more punches, and he was more effective. Nah, man. It's landed punches. Period. Landed punches and power punches. Again, just in case you missed it, landed punches are when you hit the person in the face, in the body, even in the ribs. The ribs, that counts. In the chin, in the top of the head. As long as you landed in these areas, in the side of the head, it doesn't matter if it's on the ear, on the top of the side of the head, as long as it's not on the back of the head, because that's illegal. As long as it's on the face and the head, that you can see, the body, you can land a punch here because this is the solar plex. Here, 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 and above the belt line. Or you can punch at the belt line. That's a counted punch. I'm sorry. Here, in case you can't see, usually the belt line is like right below the belly button. If you punch that, those are counted. Those are good because the judge tells you these are good. Anything below the belt line is no good. So I'm glad I said that. See, this is an hour. This should have been like a live or something, but I don't go live anyway. Like when they give credit for Canelo, oh, he beat you at the arms, he hits your hips. The hips are an illegal punch. You know why? Because that's kind of below the belt line. Well, no, I don't know, your hips that's at the belt line, yeah. But anything below, because Canelo, I gotta lift this phone up. Canelo hits you on like where your legs are. If you pay attention to Canelo, he punches you where your legs are. That's below the belt line. That's not a legal punch. He wears your shoulders down. Well, guess what? That's a blocked punch. Because when people roll with the punches, you know, you're turning, you're getting hit here. Oh, he's aiming for that. Oh, let's count that. No. That's not a counted punch. I just told you the areas where it counts. They used to show on HBO with the punch stats and where the punches count. It's still like that. In professional boxing, you have to get in. If you block the punch, if you parry a shot, if it hits me on the gloves, if it hits my arms, those are blocked punches, so those aren't punches landed. So I have to get that out of the way. So when I tell you it's punches landed is what wins you the rounds. So whoever lands more punches in that round wins you the round. That's who wins the round, right? So with me saying that, you guys got to understand, when Canelo's going to be sitting there punching Crawford, if he's punching him, and this is why you guys got to understand, when he's punching Crawford and let's say he lands and he's not hitting Crawford at all, and Crawford's blocking everything, this is how you're going to know that everything is fixed for Canelo. I'm not saying boxing in general, the judges. All right? When the judges are going to sit there and give it to Crawford or Canelo, that's how you know. Like when he fought Lara, he didn't beat Lara because you got to land punches to win rounds. Bro, Canelo hardly landed punches. He did good work, but he didn't outland Lara. Even though Lara was moving a lot, I'm not a huge fan of that. He was moving a lot, but bro, he was countering the shit out of Canelo, bro. He was splitting his guard, landing into the body, landing, you know what I'm saying? 1-2s. That's Lara, 1-2s. Same thing as Bivol, 1-2s. And that's how he beat Canelo. Canelo did not adjust, didn't make any adjustments. He just came with the same shit. The 1-1-2. 1-1-2. That's all he can do. And he's not even throwing good ones. He's not throwing good jabs. His jab, here, let me put this. His jabs, the way he sets up the right hand, he kind of just does this. He's not really throwing to land the 1-1. He's not throwing to land those. He wants to land with the way he loads up with those shots. He wants to wear your arm out. I get it, but honestly, that's not what wins you the rounds. That's why I'm saying, oh, he's a good boxer. Methodically, yeah, but skillfully, no. Methodically, he is a good boxer because boxing means to think. It's a thinking game. It's a thinker's game. I'm not saying that he's not a smart fighter. He is a smart fighter, but in that sense, he's a smart fighter. But he's not a smarter fighter than Crawford. All right? It is what it is, bro. He's not a smarter fighter than Crawford. So me saying that, that's the way I got to break these things down, bro. It's an hour and 10, almost an hour and 10 minutes. I just, I hope you guys give me your take on this, man. Please give me what your thoughts on this as well. I want to know y'all's thoughts. Comment, like, subscribe if you want. But anyways, as I was saying, man, Crawford is just better, bro. He's just better than Canelo. That's just how it is. He does so many things better than Canelo. Canelo doesn't do too much well because, first off, because he, like I said earlier, when I was almost an hour into this, I was saying he's flat-footed, bro. He's flat-footed. His footwork is okay. It's good for being flat-footed. He has good footwork for being a flat-footed fighter. And I've said this before. What else I want to say, man? For him being a flat-footed fighter, he's got good footwork. It's not bad. I'm not going to lie about that. It's not bad, but it's just it doesn't compare to Crawford. When you comparing the two, Crawford, like, hands down, is better. It has the better footwork. He's the better puncher. He has the better footwork. And I keep saying this over and over in the same fucking video, just in case you guys forget. I'm talking to the shit talkers that just pick Canelo because Canelo had, Crawford's never fought there. He has a big weight disadvantage, which, like I said, it's not crazy. It's not crazy to think that. It's not crazy. But it's also not crazy to think that Crawford can beat him. Like I'm saying here, stating all the tools that Crawford has over Canelo. Crawford just has to be careful with those haymakers. The 1-1-2. Canelo does have he has an okay hook to the body and hook upstairs. Left hook. You know what I mean? He doesn't, it's not the best. It's not the best left hook, but it is decent. I can't lie. It's decent. But it's not, because when he throws it to the hips. When he throws to the body, it's like he's not trying to land. He just wants to hit you anywhere in that area. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, if you block it, it's not a landed punch. But they're giving him rounds, bro. That's why the judges are giving him rounds for that. Like, yeah, it's a hard punch. He throws. That's the thing. He throws with intent. He throws with a lot of energy. He puts a lot of energy in his punches, which is why I think he's not going to beat Crawford, because when you load up like that, you're telegraphing. Like, every time I watch Canelo, I know he's going to do it. I know exactly when he's going to do it because I see it. And that's why I keep saying the fighters that he fights are not on Crawford's level, because they know it's coming. They just cover up. All right, it's coming. Boom. And they take the hit. Versus making adjustments. They don't make any adjustments, bro. Like, those guys, they're not on that level, bro. Bro, you never saw Mayweather get hit with those shots. Even Lara didn't really get hit with those shots. I mean, Bivol is bigger, so he can absorb that. You know what I mean? That's where weight does make a difference. And that's why I said it's not crazy to think that just because he's in a higher weight division or fights at a higher weight division, it's not crazy to think that Crawford's not going to win, because you're thinking about Crawford absorbing the punches from Canelo, but you're also not thinking on how Crawford makes adjustments. Crawford is Crawford is like the best adjuster. Who adjusts better than Crawford? Nobody's talking about that. Nobody is talking about that. Those big channels are not talking about that. They're just showing you clips of when Crawford took those punches from Kavalauskas and Gamboa and who else caught him with good punches? Sean Porter caught him with some good punches early on in the fight. I mean, everybody's caught him with some good punches early, which is, I get your what's the word I'm looking for? Your disbelief or your discouragement. I could see your doubt. That's the word I'm looking for. I can see why you're doubting Crawford, because he does take some shots early on. You know what I mean? But like I said, he has shown to take these things into consideration. Like when he fought Kell Brook, he took his power into consideration, so he didn't really get hit too good. But he did take, because Kell Brook's fast. Kell Brook's got speed that Canelo don't have, and he took Spence's power seriously, and you can see the adjustments he made in training camp. You know what I'm saying? That's notable to put in to the Canelo fight. He's been preparing for Canelo for over a year now, or a year. You got to take those things into note. Those things are notable to assess, to put into your analysis. You got to put those things into consideration. You know what I mean? That's being a good analyst, right? So when you know his preparation, when you know he's going to make those adjustments in training camp, everybody knows, I even know, his Canelo's 1-1-2 and the left hook, that left hook to the body, he does a leaping left hook where he tries to disguise it downstairs and then he shoots upstairs. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to say. The IQ level of his opponents, which IQ, for you to make adjustments, you got to have IQ. You know what I mean? That's why I tell everybody, the smarter fighter is Crawford, because the way he makes adjustments is very notable. You know what I mean? He's a smart fighter. He's a very smart fighter. He makes adjustments almost on the spot. If he gets hit, like when he took those hits from Kavalauskas in like the 8th round, he immediately made an adjustment, and he never got hit again with those rights after the 8th round. All right, he did get hit here and there with some right hands like before that, but they weren't really hurting Crawford, so he kind of brushed them off a little bit. But the 8th round is where Kavalauskas hit him over and over again. He hit him with like 3 in a row right hands, 3 in a row. It might have been 4 in a row. And then after that 4th one, he made an adjustment immediately, and then never got hit again with that punch. But the thing is, he wasn't preparing for Madrimov like he's preparing for Canelo. He prepared like the way he prepared for Spence. You could tell he didn't prepare for Madrimov. You know what I mean? He came in there right away, southpaw. I hate that. I'm one of the things that I always criticize Crawford for that. One of these days, he's gonna fight somebody, and I got rid of those videos. I should have just kept it up, but I was doing a lot of trolling. I was trolling a lot because for that Spence versus Crawford fight. I said there's gonna be somebody that's going to expose Crawford, because he likes to go southpaw, but he's really an orthodox fighter, right? Because Crawford really is an orthodox fighter. He is not a southpaw. Even though he likes to fight southpaw, he's not a southpaw. The only reason why he fights southpaw is to beat you with the lead hand. The lead hand, what do you call that? The lead hand battle. And he hits you hard. He's a hard puncher. When he does a lot of damage with the right hand jab. I remember, I don't know if people remember me from making those videos, but he's gonna get exposed, and I hope to God he does not go southpaw in this fight, because I think he will get exposed. Which, if he didn't learn anything from that Madrimov fight, anyway, I think he does it because he can. Because he said that when he fought Delorme, everybody was like, why do you go southpaw? Because I can. He said, because I can. That, to me, if people don't understand fighters, when I say stuff like that, because I can, that means you ain't shit. I do it because you ain't shit. Because I can get away with it. Because you so trash, I could fight you southpaw. That's what that means. In case you guys didn't know. He fights people southpaw because he can. Because they're not good enough. That's why, see, he took Kell Brook seriously. Because he came out with Kell Brook orthodox. And then once he figured out Kell Brook, he relaxed a little bit more. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna practice more on southpaw. I'm gonna whoop his ass southpaw. Because I can. You know? And also, he beats you with the lead right. I mean, it does. Once he does figure out, he'll turn. But I don't think he should do that with Canelo, because he needs that power. He needs his right hand. He needs that right hand cross. He needs to be able to shoot that cross and hurt Canelo, because he can hurt Canelo. And this is another thing I wanted to talk about. That, Canelo has a granite chin. He has never been hurt. He has never been this. He has been hurt, but he hasn't been hurt by the guys that he's been fighting because they're not good punchers. Now, this is where I wanted to talk about being a good puncher. It's not always the hard punch that's going to hurt you and put you down or knock you down. I can throw a good short snapping punch that's very fast short. Bow, just a quick one. Bow, that could knock you down. Canelo could be off balance Canelo could be off balance because he's off balance a lot, but nobody's good enough to exploit that because they don't have good footwork. Usually Canelo has the better footwork, even though, like I said, he's flat-footed. He has good footwork for a flat-footed fighter. Anyway, they're not better punchers. Canelo always has the speed advantage and has the better footwork, the more educated footwork. But when it comes to Crawford, which this is just speculation, because I think with me saying if Crawford is training to exploit Canelo's flaws, those are it right there. So he's going to reposition himself, get to the outside, and throw a short shot. Bow, catch. He's going to catch Canelo off balance, and is going to knock him down. Now, if Crawford can keep doing this, he'll win the fight. You know what I mean? If he can keep knocking down Canelo, he can win the fight. And Canelo doesn't even have to be hurt. You don't have to get hurt with a punch like that, but it's good enough to knock you down. Now, or strong enough. And he actually can hurt Canelo. I think he'll hurt Canelo to the body. Because I'm picking Crawford to win by body work. He's going to do a lot of damage going to the body. Canelo has never been worked to the body. You know what I mean? And that's just what I think Crawford's going to do. All right? I think Crawford is going to expose Canelo that way. He's going to hurt him to the body. He's just going to be better because, like I said, he's the better puncher, has the better footwork, all that shit is better. What's power when you can't utilize it? You got to be good enough to utilize your power. Crawford's good enough to utilize his power. He has respectable power, all right? And I think he's going to hurt. Bro, I won't be surprised if he stops Canelo. Canelo, yeah, I said it. I fucking said it. I said that shit, all right? He's going to, if he stops, not if, but he can stop Canelo, because Canelo is not going to back up. And if he does, he's not a good back foot fighter. He can't fight off the back foot. He doesn't fight going backwards good. All right? Especially when the guy's got the speed advantage and is got all the skills. Crawford or Canelo is going to be looking to impose. All right? This is what I think. Because he already feels disrespected. So he's going to go there to try to show. He's going to go there to try to impose and show that Crawford don't belong there with him. All right? This is why I think Crawford's going to knock him out. This is my prediction. Canelo's going to go in there trying to impose his will on Crawford because he feels disrespected. He doesn't feel like Crawford deserves to be in there with him. All right? He's going to try to prove that Crawford don't belong in there with him. Like he don't belong in the ring with him. So he's gonna go there, and that's what's gonna get him hurt. All right? That is what's gonna get Canelo knocked out. Because he's gonna go forward and he's gonna sit there and try to throw those big shots, and he's gonna leave himself open. Because that's what he does. He drops that. Every time he throws that left hook, he drops his right hand. Every time he goes to throw that right hand, he drops his left hand. He has no guard. He has no guard, bro, because nobody has been able to exploit that on Crawford. They can't, because they're not good enough. They're not good enough puncher. They're not a good enough puncher. They're not good enough footwork to be in position to get out of harm's way. They're not that good, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. His opponents are not that good. They're not as good as Crawford. You know? And even Crawford's opponents were good enough to get, you know what I mean? They're good. They're good. They're good. They're not bad. They're not bad fighters. When you compare opponents, Crawford has fought the better guys. The last 5 guys he's fought are better than Canelo's last 5 guys. All right? They're better than his last 5 opponents. Crawford is better than Canelo, period. All right? Time and time again, it's been shown there. It's there for you to see. Just go on the videos or go on YouTube and do some film study, man. I shouldn't, but I'm here making these videos. All right? I just hope y'all respect my opinion. Because I respect yours, but I'm just here explaining to you guys why I'm picking Crawford. I'm picking Crawford because he's better. All right? Crawford's better. He does everything better. All right? But, like I said, I'm picking Crawford, but it's not crazy. You know what I mean? It's not crazy. To me, it's not crazy to think that Canelo can't win. Obviously, he's supposed to win. Canelo is supposed to win this fight. I just don't think he's going to win this fight. Based on what I was trying to say, this 1.5 hour long rant. You know what I mean? He's just not going to do it. All right? So I'm going to cut this off now, just because I've been talking for about 1.5 hours now. Give me your thoughts, man. Share your thoughts with me. Comment. If you see this video, comment. Please subscribe, like the video. JDO Boxing. I might come out with another one. All right, a shorter one than this. Peace.